Hey teachers, today we're going to talk about ChatGPT and how it can save you a lot of time in the classroom. Specifically, we're going to talk about how ChatGPT can be used as a digital collaborator to help you out with lesson plans, background information, and things of that nature. The idea is that ChatGPT should be able to free you up to focus on the important things, which is working with your students. Also, if you watch the full video, you'll learn how to make ChatGPT talk to you like a pirate, which is pretty cool. The first thing you know is that there's two versions of ChatGPT. There's the free one, which I use, is ChatGPT 3.5, and the paid version, which is currently ChatGPT 4.0. The big difference is that the paid version is bigger, faster, stronger, quicker, more up to date. And the really big difference as well is that ChatGPT 4.0 is connected to DALL-E, which is a text-to-image generator. So ChatGPT, if you type into the prompt, you can get text-to-text responses, or you can get text-to-image responses as well. So first we're going to cover the basic controls for ChatGPT. The box down at the bottom is where you type your prompt, and this is where you're asking ChatGPT for specific information. The more information you put in the prompt, the better off you are. Once ChatGPT gives you an answer, you have some options. One, if you like what you've got, you just run with it. You can clip that little box with the clipboard and that will copy what ChatGPT said. It'll make a clean copy so you can copy and paste that into a Google Doc. If you don't like the answer that ChatGPT gave you, you have a couple of options. One, you can click on that arrow that's kind of in a circle, that's the regenerate button. What that will do is it'll cause ChatGPT to answer your question again, but in a different way. So maybe this new angle has the information you're looking for. Or you can put some more questions in the prompt for follow-up questions until you get clarification and get the answer that you're looking for. There is a share button in the top right corner as well, which is really important. So let's say you get information that you really like and you want other teachers to know that. If they go to ChatGPT and they type it in, they're going to get a totally different answer because, again, it's an AI with an artificial neural network, which means it never answers the same question twice. So if you want to share this conversation with others, click on that little box with the up arrow and that will share your current conversation. It'll share the link to other people so they can hop in that conversation right where you are. Also, in the top left corner, let's say you've gotten all the information you want and you want to start a whole new session. Top left corner, if you click new chat, ChatGPT will start all over again as if it's a new session. So it'll ignore everything you said previously and start over fresh and clean. The other thing you should know is that ChatGPT saves your conversations. So off to the left, you'll see this whole slew of conversations. It's a history of conversations in chronological order. And it puts the most current conversation up top, so ChatGPT saves your conversation. When creating lesson plans, please be as specific as possible for ChatGPT in order for the lesson plan to be successful. For example, when you're writing your lesson plans, you want to tell ChatGPT what grade level you're working with, how long the lesson should be, and I even ask it to cite the standards it's working with, for the lesson itself. So I have that in the objectives as well. Once you hit generate, ChatGPT will create an entire assignment. It'll have an introduction. It should have the standards. If it doesn't have the standards, ask it to cite them as well. And everything will be together in a lesson plan. So the good news is that you can go ahead and just click on the clipboard, copy all that, paste it over, make the modifications you want for your students, and you can run with that as a lesson plan. Or if you don't like the lesson itself, you can click the regenerate button and ChatGPT will give you a whole new lesson instead. And then again, you can look it over, see if you like it, copy paste, make the modifications, and then there you go. You have a great lesson you can use with your students immediately. Other examples, you could use ChatGPT to write your introductory letter home to parents. You could create this letter to give to your kids on the first day of school. You'll notice the example, I just listed things about my personal life that I wanted to be included in the letter. I also included things about my career. And then the thing that I also really like is that I just listed random things that I wanted students to bring into class, and ChatGPT not only listed all of those things, but it also explained why those things were important, and not even ask it to do that, which is awesome. So as you can see, I also added the tone of the letter, which I thought was really important to make sure that ChatGPT knew exactly what I was looking for in order to make sure this was a successful product. ChatGPT can also help teachers out with their writing. For example, if you had an email, you could copy it, paste it, put it in there, and ask ChatGPT for recommendations to make it a better email. It could also help improve resumes, or it can help for my high school teachers if you have to write letters of recommendation. I used to spend an hour to 2 hours for every letter of recommendation at least, and I would get hit with dozens of rec letters every year. Now what you can do is you can simply copy and paste the student's information from a resume, paste in the ChatGPT, tell it what you want in a form of a letter, and then once you get the feedback, you can either run with it, click on the clipboard, copy it over to a Google Doc, regenerate if you don't like it, And then once you have it over in the Google Doc, you can change it, modify it, and make it the way you want it. I'm not saying copy and paste what ChatGPT writes, but you can use it as a starting point so you're not just sitting there staring at the blank page waiting for something to happen. Bringing it back to the classroom, you can use ChatGPT to gather background information. And what that means is that you can use ChatGPT to gather information students may need to know to be successful about a topic. For example, you're studying the American Revolution. What do kids need to know before we actually start talking about it? If you're studying an animal, for example, let's say you're talking about penguins, you could ask ChatGPT to create 10 fun and educational things about penguins, and that gives you a fun starting point with your students, so that's another way that we could use it for background information. You can also use ChatGPT to define things. For example, I used ChatGPT here to define a sonnet, and it realized that there were two different types of sonnets, but the thing that makes ChatGPT really awesome for teachers is that not only can you use it to define things, but you can use it to create things. So here you'll see I asked ChatGPT not just to define a sonnet, but I asked it to write a sonnet that explains what a sonnet is, which is amazing. I couldn't write a sonnet if you gave me a week to do it, let alone write a sonnet about what a sonnet actually does. So that's pretty amazing. You can use ChatGPT to change the Lexile of a text. So let's say, for example, you're studying the Constitution, but you have students who are struggling with reading in general, or maybe this might be a little too advanced for the grade level. What you can do is you can copy and paste the original text into ChatGPT, tell it the grade level you're working with, and ask ChatGPT to simplify it. So again, you're differentiating the reading level within the same text, which also means you can give the students the same questions. You're just giving them different passages, but those different passages are about the same text, which is pretty amazing. Another example would be word story problems. If you're in a math class and you have students who are working a particular concept, you can ask ChatGPT to write sample math questions and incorporate certain students' names into those math questions. And so students get a chance to see their names in the actual math problem, which they really, really like. Being the English teacher that I am, you could also ask ChatGPT to generate an answer key for your math problems as well, and the answer key pops up as well. So it has everything you need to write simple math story problems for your students as well. In an elementary class, you could also use ChatGPT to create a mentor text. So let's say you're studying elements like protagonist, antagonist, setting, and theme. You can then ask your students who should be the protagonist, who should be the antagonist, things of that nature, and ask ChatGPT to write a story that incorporates those elements. Tell ChatGPT also to put a limit, maybe like 200 words, so you have a really short story, and then you have what's called a mentor text. You can give that mentor text to all of your students. Your high flyers can go over there and say, okay, I want you to improve this story and make it better, while your students who may be struggling with certain concepts go over this way, and we say, okay, I want you to identify the protagonist, the antagonist, setting. What do we know? So you're reviewing these kids and you're pushing these kids into a higher order thinking. So in this instance, you're actually differentiating the assignment because you're letting your high flyers really push themselves, and you're also working with your students who are struggling in identifying the basic concepts, but we're all working on the same thing. One thing about ChatGPT that blew me away is that it can evaluate student writing. For example, in this particular instance, I gave it a prompt. I told it that I wanted it to evaluate a student's writing. It said, sure, I just need a rubric. So I went ahead and copied and pasted my rubric into ChatGPT. ChatGPT then said it wanted the actual student essay. I copied and pasted the student essay and put it in ChatGPT as well. Lo and behold, you'll notice it graded the student and gave feedback on each individual domain. I would never do that as a teacher because I don't have that kind of time. That takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of effort. But ChatGPT did it like that. Ultimately, I asked it for one single holistic score. I personally gave this essay a 7 out of 9. ChatGPT gave it a 7.5 out of 9. I can live with that. So it's a great way for students to get immediate feedback on their writing. They don't even need to rely on you, the teacher, anymore to do that. They could actually just throw it in ChatGPT and see how they're doing with the topic so far. ChatGPT can also be used for what I like to call a guest speaker function. What that means is that you can have an open AI, which is when the AI uses all the information it has to answer questions, or you can have a closed AI. And what that means is that you limit the knowledge and context that the AI uses to answer questions. For example, we use ChatGPT to answer questions about Lord of the Flies. And so going in the prompt, I basically told ChatGPT for the context, we were studying Lord of the Flies by William Golding, the novel. And I wanted ChatGPT to limit its knowledge to one character, Piggy. It'll limit its knowledge to Piggy and respond to questions from students in the voice, tone, and style that Piggy would have used in the novel. And so as you can see here, we were asking Piggy questions, and ChatGPT is doing its very best to answer questions the way Piggy would have in the book, which is pretty amazing. So what this means is that you can use ChatGPT to answer questions, from fictional characters, historical people, things of that nature. You can also personify ChatGPT. So you could have ChatGPT answer questions about, the water cycle as if it's a raindrop or something like that. I had a speaker do that. Or you could have ChatGPT answer questions as if it's an animal or an object, which is pretty cool also. So it gives students a unique insight into what's happening with this thing that they're studying. ChatGPT can also play games, which is pretty fun. For example, it can actually play 20 questions. So what we did was in a chemistry class, we sat down and said, okay, pick an element from the periodic table, and we're gonna play 20 questions to try and figure out what element you are. And so we made sure that ChatGPT knew how to play it. We also asked if it was ready and had selected an element. And then we began to ask questions about the periodic table in order to figure out which element ChatGPT was playing the role of at that point in time. Not only can ChatGPT play games, but it can also make games. And what I mean by that is that ChatGPT can write code to allow your students to play games. You just need to tell ChatGPT the parameters of that game and what it is that you're looking for. A few weeks ago, I went to the Georgia Educational Technology Conference and saw Tony Vincent present this idea in his presentation over artificial intelligence in the classroom, and it was amazing. It blew me away, and I thought I would try to replicate it. So this is his idea. But basically, he sat down and he had an idea for a game, and he asked ChatGPT to help him with the code. So I used his idea and tried to recreate it. I asked ChatGPT to write the code for a game that I could paste into Google Sites using HTML. The first attempt didn't really turn out that well. As you can see, there are some problems with it. I went back and told ChatGPT this is a good start, but it's still not working quite right. ChatGPT took the feedback, said okay, and it rewrote the code, tried it again. The second example was a little bit better, but it was still missing some elements, so we tried it again, and the third time we got it. So this was pretty big for me. It didn't really look as good as Tony's game did, but I thought it was a pretty good start for me, seeing as how I have no idea how to code or how HTML even works. So I just thought it was an amazing illustration to show what you really can do with ChatGPT. You can play games, you can make games, and you don't even need to know how to do it. You can just ask it to help you through the process. The point of this presentation is to really show teachers how powerful ChatGPT and AI can be in the classroom. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of fear about AI and how students will misuse it, but I think we're missing the bigger picture about how it can be used to help students, and more importantly, how it can be used to help teachers help students. It can be used to streamline a lot of the work that teachers are already doing. It can help them differentiate lessons, and it can help students make things more practical and useful for students in the classroom. And I think it's gonna be a great tool in the long run. Also, I am always looking to add to my knowledge of ChatGPT and AI, so if you can think of any ways you can use it in the classroom that we didn't cover in this particular video, please put it in the comments, because I would love to add to my portfolio and keep building on my own personal knowledge of ChatGPT. So that's what I got for today. So hopefully everybody take care and have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Hey everybody, I was almost done and then realized I didn't tell you how to get ChatGPT to talk to you like a pirate. So here we go. What you're gonna do is you're gonna click on your account, which for me is my name in the bottom left-hand corner, and you're gonna click on custom instructions. At that point in time, ChatGPT is gonna ask you a few things. What do you want it to know about you, and how do you want it to respond to this information? So I told it I enjoy hearing silly voices, and then in the response I said, when you see hashtag pirate, I want you to respond in the tone and voice of a pirate. So there you go. What you gotta do then is click save and then click new chat, so it starts over new. And then from that point forward, every time I type hashtag pirate, ChatGPT will now address me in the tone and the voice of a pirate. So again, it doesn't have to be hashtag, but I just use that because I don't use hashtags when I type normally. But what you need to do is just set up a trigger so that ChatGPT has a response. So just let it know when you want it to act in a particular way. So I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about this. So please put in the comments how you're going to use this feature and what you'd use it for, and how it can make your experience with ChatGPT a little better. All right, thanks for watching.